Hi, it's Cosmin here, and in this video, I'm going to talk a bit about addiction and how it all started for me and how I managed to quit, basically. So, it all started as my addiction was smoking weed. I smoked weed for 8, 9 years in a row, maybe five up to seven joints a day. Um, I'm not saying this as a bragging point or anything like that, but it started when I came to UK. My colleague, my roommate, basically, he was the dealer, and he introduced me to it, and I took it at the time because for me it was like a booster. I achieved my dream, just working and living abroad and everything, and it was like an enhancer, enhancing my joy, my state of happiness at that point. So it did start as fun, to be honest with you, and slowly I took it bit by bit every day, and as tolerance grows, I took more and more, and it became just a normal thing. I always thought about weed like, you can always stop it. It's just for a while. I'm gonna do this, and then I can easily stop. So there's no issue with it. That state of happiness when I got here lasted for I would say a good solid year, up to 2 years or so. But in that time, I got used to it. I got used to the weed smoking, and I wasn't a smoker before. I was playing lots of sports, especially football. I'm a big passion about football. So it became a thing. Smoking weed became a thing, unfortunately, and I didn't notice at the time, but slowly it creeped up on me. Like I was coming from work, and all I can think of, oh, I can't wait to get home, have a joint, relax, smoke and relax. And I'm saying this because there's a lot of people who can discipline it, who can have that discipline of smoking. I don't judge whoever smokes, I'm just telling you about my point of how it became an addiction to me. And for me, it became like ice cream, basically. I can have it in the house. And yeah, I know some people can discipline it, and kudos to them. That's brilliant, but I wasn't that type, since I first started having it, basically, it's it's it became like part of the day. It became like routine, and something triggered in my brain, and my body liked it too much. I know my brain liked it too much, and I think that was my problem. I couldn't discipline it. I wasn't that type of a guy really to get hold of my grip with it. So it started as fun. I'm not gonna lie, it did start as fun, but after that, it started to become normal, and I started to think about it more and more after work, waking up in the morning, because also I was single at the time, just living life um, and playing a lot of video games, which go hand in hand, weed and smoking. Sorry, weed and gaming and goes hand in hand. Another thing is porn, which goes hand to hand with it. Unfortunately, that's another thing which is not good. Um, and it became routine. It became routine for a good solid years until I had a loss in my family. My little brother passed away. That was in when COVID hit, like around 2020. My little brother passed away, God rest his soul. And then it became like a coping mechanism, just to suppress all my emotions, just to go day by day, after having the loss in my family. But before the coping mechanism, I believe it already was inside my body so much that I was thinking of it too much. Everything was around it. Basically, I couldn't enjoy anything else, if I wasn't smoking, which is sad. Now come to realize it. It started as fun, became as a coping mechanism after loss in my family, and then I had my own family. You know, my wife came along. I was still smoking when I got along with my wife when we were in a relationship. At the beginning, and to my shame, I was still smoking when my first child. Actually, when my wife said, I'm pregnant and all that, I thought to myself, okay, this is the time. This is time to quit. I've done my bit with it. This is, I knew that at that point I was thinking too much about it. I was having it constantly, daily. So I knew it was too much for me. Yeah. So when she said, I'm pregnant and all that, that was the first thing I said, oh, I gotta quit seriously because I know it's not doing me good. Too many things that go around it. And afterwards, what happened? My wife gave birth to my first child, and I was still smoking. I still couldn't give up on it, unfortunately. I remember one time I went with my eldest daughter. I went to my eldest daughter to pick up. I told her that we're going to the park, which we did go to the park. But in the same time, my thought process was just going to pick up some weed as well in the same time, because I was so dependent on it. And that when I got there, it's just something I can't, forget. And that's another major stone, in my life when I think, oh, made me thinking basically like, what are you doing? So yeah, I went with my daughter. I picked it up. I picked my bag basically of weed, and um, I went to the park with her. But my mind was also constantly about, oh, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to smoke. Um, and I still carried on. And in that process, I became like a zombie every day with just like smoking. Um, I wasn't having like motivation for anything. I was just smoking, playing games on my phone. When I had the time, playing games on my computer. So nothing productive, basically, absolutely nothing. My second daughter came into this world, and shortly after she came, it it was a point when no matter how many people tell you something is wrong, I believe, 5,000 people can tell you, Cosmin, it's wrong, you can't go on like this. I knew that at one point also I was affected psychologically. If I wasn't smoking, I was having like a row. I was having a fight. Like arguing with my wife and all that. I didn't have the patience if I wasn't smoking. And there comes a point, even if 5,000 people tell you, like, this is wrong, you can't go on like this, and you know that in yourself it's wrong. The moment I decided to quit, no matter how many people can tell you, like, this is wrong, or, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, you carried on for too long. No matter how many people will tell you that, it will never change unless it comes from you. So this time, when I got to a low point in my life, like really low, I got fired, or as the British people would say, sacked. From my job. Not from this reason, not from weed or anything like that. It's just because I was smoking at the time, not at work or anything like that. But my motivation was so low that everything dropped. My energy dropped, my level of work dropped. So things like that dropped in all areas, and I got to a point which was so low. After I'd been fired and all that, um, I looked myself in the mirror, and it came from me. This is what I'm trying to say. The change came from me. I looked in the mirror, and what I saw in the mirror was too ugly. It was too ugly. I and I knew at that point, when the ugliness came out, and all that, I was looking straight in the eyes. Yeah, yeah, this is it. But the first month, I have to tell you, um, it was incredibly hard. I was very irritable, like very irritable. Constant arguments and stuff like that. God bless my wife; she was very patient with me. I told her that, look, I'm gonna give up. This, I can't carry on like this. I'm spending a lot of money on this as well. Lots of money per month, which can go in different direction, can go to my children, can go into the house, can go into whatever. So yeah, first month was really tough, but slowly, I grabbed some CBD oil, kind of like to trick my body that I was having something, but without the high in it, basically. So I took that, and it worked. I was still having like cigarettes, just kind of like mimic the act of smoking, and I dropped those as well. And here I am without it. And I realized that the change will always have to come from the inside. No matter how many people told me from the outside, if it didn't come from me from the inside, this change would have never happened. And I realized there are people out there who um, can discipline it. They're very disciplined with it. They're very calculated. But in some cases, like me, where my brain is so chemically attached to this substance, is so drawn to it, I can have it. I promise myself, I promise to God, say, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. No, I've done my part. I've done my years. There's no point now. It's absolutely no point. So, as a last piece of advice, I don't judge anyone who smokes. It's your decision. It's not for that. I'm just telling you my experience. And I believe that, weed doesn't kill you as a person, but I believe it does kill your dreams. It can kill your dreams slowly but surely. It is possible. Killing motivation, killing anything you want to become in life. So if you do or do not smoke, just be mindful of that. I love you all, and God bless you.